Good morning, buddy. Hopefully you had a wonderful and hopefully cooler than we did. We got up to 99 degrees. So anybody says Minnesota is a cold place has not been here in the summer. So hopefully you were cool. I know there's a lot of hot places around the country. Hopefully you were able to make it through it just fine. So you see here we have the site up. The reason I have the site up is, remember, we have in marketing, we have low cost marketing. We have lead generation, which is low or no cost marketing. Lead generation is also very low cost marketing. And then we have events. So I wanted to go through kind of what's happening now. First of all, if we've got low cost and no cost, we have extremely low cost, and then we have the normal, typical, more expensive, but more effective marketing. How many people should be marketing? Not everybody. Not everybody should be marketing, but who should be marketing? So everybody answer that. Who should be marketing? So not everybody should be marketing, but who should be marketing? I was just talking to one of the guys here last Thursday, and he's 65, has about 250 clients. His wife still works at a high paying job. Should he be marketed? Did he think he needs to market? No, he's fine. He's just all he does is he rolls about 7, 8, 9 clients a year to find a better product, and he's making a fantastic. Guys, can you think of a better retirement income than rolling a 7, 8, 9, 10 policies per year to better products? He's making about $100,000 a year just rolling things. So because he's had the clients forever, so they've got significant money. So that person doesn't need to market. But yeah, everybody. Okay, I've got lots of good answers here. Anybody who wants to see new people needs to market. Anybody who wants to grow their practice needs to market. These are all good answers. Tom, Bob, Howard, thanks, Nick. So we've got low cost or no cost. We got low cost, and we got the regular event. So you should be doing one of these things. If you don't know which one to be doing, Matt would be more than happy to walk you through these. Missy would be happy to walk you through these. So what I want to talk to you about today is this lead generation that Missy talked about and actually developed during the winter, and it's working quite well. So I want to give you an example of how well it's working for guys using it. So I have to get back out of here, and then we'll get to slideshow and here. So Missy, can you kind of walk through what's going on with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So this was actually a campaign that I was updated on late last week. And so this campaign actually started ads running on it the last week of April. And they ran for about 10 days to get their first lead, which is very normal. And as of a month later, so last week would have just kind of closed in on the first 4 weeks of it, the agent had received 45 opt-ins for a Facebook ad spend of about $609. So that figures out to be an average cost per lead of about $13. And of course, the cost of getting the system up and going, so the ongoing cost of it. So, but that's 45.
But that's a one-time charge. So even with that, you probably would be up to about a $30 cost, even with that, and that will go down. Yeah, and that'll go down as more leads come in, because it's not per lead. It's a one-time cost. So that's the most expensive, would be about $35, and then it will continue to go down if you include that startup cost, even if you kept doing it forever and ever, right?
And the thing to note is that it's always slower at the beginning, because it takes a while for your ads to, in the digital world, the ads to kind of start really doing anything. So the ad cost, your frequency of getting leads comes in a little bit faster at the longer that your ads continue to keep running. So yeah, even when you figure in the monthly cost on it, you're talking $35 a lead. That's still a fairly inexpensive.
And it only goes down from there
as you get more leads. as you get more leads. So, yep. And after you've been with the program for, if you chose to stay on longer than 3 months, your monthly cost is going down. So you're not paying the $1,000, you're paying the $750 a month instead. So again, it goes down the longer you stay on the program for a couple of different reasons. The cost goes down, but the frequency, the volume of leads tends to go up as you get farther along in the program. So that.
Can I jump in here a second?
Yep.
Is anybody confused on why we're saying $35 per lead instead of the 13 that's here? Is anybody confused about that? Nick's got it. He's not confused. Everybody gets it. Howard gets it. Okay, super. Go. Everybody gets it. Got it. Okay, yes, because this is how much it costs for advertising, and then we have the development, and yes, that's right, Bob. The $1,000 setup, or $1,000 a month to maintain it, or something. So, Missy, can you just clarify? Everybody seems to get it, but can you just spend 1 minute clarifying the costs again?
Yep, I sure can. So this program, it takes a little bit of setup, and so and someone to constantly monitor it. They're flipping in ads, checking what ads are more effective than others. So it's not like we just put one static ad out there and then they just run with it. So there's.
Can I talk about the ad for a second? Are these ads that are like, hey, get a free Rand McNally Atlas, or hey, see what the interest rates are, or I can get you 8% annuity. I mean, these are actually ads that are creating quality. People that raise their hands, they're actually extremely high quality people in as their interest in what we'd like to talk to them about.
Correct. Yep. And they're actually pitching the 7 Essentials document, which is the lead on into the 21 Lite and the 21.
So these are perfect people.
Yeah. So these are people that really are interested in conforming to exactly the pitch that you're later going to be giving them.
Okay. So sorry for interrupting you.
No, that's okay. So back to how kind of the pricing works. The setup, the someone kind of overseeing all those ads. So how the process works is it's $1,000 a month. That includes all of your setup, and it takes about a month to get everything all programmed, all of the systems in place, so that it's kind of the leads are all dumping to you automatically, and you've got a calendarly set up behind it to make sure that you're getting notified of all of those leads as well, or whatever calendar you already use. And so it's $1,000 a month for the first 3 months. So each of the first 3 months. And then if you choose to stay longer, and they do ask for a 3-month commitment, because like I said, the setup part is a little bit time consuming, and we want to give it enough time for the ads to start working, that you actually start to get some leads. And then after 3 months, if you choose to stay with them, that $1,000 cost drops down to $750, because now we're more so just kind of monitoring, meeting with you every couple of weeks, or more frequent if you need, but at least every couple of weeks to talk through things and make sure that there's things that need to be evaluated or tweaked or changed in order to keep those leads coming in. Also gives you an opportunity to touch base with them and let them know, okay, are we hitting the right group of people? Are these close enough, far enough, whatever. So it's an opportunity for you to constantly be meeting with them. So that's.
So guys, how many other lead sources will meet with you and help you customize and go over those types of things? The ones that charge $350 a lead, do any of those do that? Or do you just buy the lead and hope for the best? Yeah. So, I mean, the money you're spending, this is a high, if you're going to run leads, whoa, this is 10 times better than any other lead source out there. Cost-wise, it's 10 times better. Customization is 10 times better. And the fact that it leads right into a 21-point checklist, it's 10 times better. So we all worry about costs, we all worry about the quality of people, and we all worry about how do I convert them then into the process? Because if all they're looking for is an 8% annuity, how many 8% annuities are out there, guys? Because that's what the other annuity people are pitching, that kind of stuff, right? Okay, so sorry, Missy.
Nope, I was just going to say, and to be clear, I just wanted to make that very clear that this is not pitching an 8% annuity type product. It's not pitching a product at all. It's pitching a the process, like it's pitching the 21 Light process. And so it's a great lead in. So sometimes people will get a hold of me and say, I can't pitch a product. It's not pitching a product. And so I just want to clarify that. So yeah.
And though it's only a lead system, you have Counterly, and have we had people make appointments straight from this lead generation without even the guy following up? Yeah. Yep, now that's absolutely. You're not going to get an avalanche, but do we have appointments made off of this ad?
Yep. And the more involved that the agent stays, and reaches out to them or continues to keep them on drips, the more successful this has proven to be the farther it gets out. So 2, 3, 4 months down the road, they have a lot better chance of converting some of those people because they've been reaching out to them, they've been dripping on them, they've obviously warmed them up. It's kind of the purpose behind these leads. That's why we're hoping to get leads that are heading in the right direction for you to be able to segue over to the 21-point checklist.
Super. So we just want to kind of give you an update on that. That's not what the call is about, but I thought you guys would appreciate knowing how some of the things are going. And again, a reminder of the things that we have available for you. And we are the only people that have this, guys. So you're the only people out there using this, and that's a good thing. Make sense? So if you have any questions with that, call Matt, call Missy, and they can help. They can help. Either one of them can help you out. I want to thank Mark. He sent this in, guys. How long have we been touting the fact that bonds are not a guaranteed entity? Well, about 23 years. Well, Mark sent this in. As the next chart shows, the 30-year lost 15.66% in the first quarter. Guys, is that a guaranteed investment? So if you had your clients in bonds, you have a little bit of what to do right now. And how long have we been harping to get your fixed money out of bonds and into fixed index annuities? My wife just got her FIA statement, and she made $72,000 on her FIA with a 15% rate of return, even with a 40%. So yes, did she hit the sweet spot? Did she hit the sweet spot? Yes, she hit the sweet spot for the annual renewal. But how many people how many investments out there where you can get a 15% rate of return? Again, not every year, but last year, 15% rate of return with no risk whatsoever. And if the market crashes now, is she going to be hurt at all? So these are the kind of things that you got to protect your clients. There's no reason to be in bonds. So, well, I guess they've lost 15%. Might as well ride it out. Should you be riding it out in bonds right now, or should you get the hell out of bonds right now if you're still in them? Is there any reasons whatsoever to be in bonds? None. Get that money to FIAs. So if you could read a person's mind, how many people could you sell? Switching gears here. If you could read a person's mind, how many people could you sell? Everybody answer this. Lots or none? Well, all of them, hopefully. And how can we read people's minds? You can all read people's minds. How do you do it? How do you read people's minds? You can all do it. Ah, that's right. Ask questions. Ask open-ended questions. Are you reading people's minds when you ask yes/no questions? No, they have to be open-ended questions. Who, what, where, why, when, how. Here's the thing. Will people lie to you when you ask them open-ended questions? No, they don't. See, the example I use is, let's say that I hate the New England Patriots, and my neighbor loves the New England Patriots. And do I want to get into it? And New England Patriot fans, are they rabid, guys? They're rabid, man. I've run into them. They're rabid. So do I want to get into a bad relationship with my neighbor? No. So I'm out clipping the hedges, and my neighbor comes over, and he's going on and on about how much he loves the New England Patriots. What do I say? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do I agree with anything he's saying? No. But do I want an argument? No. So what do I just say? Yeah. See, because when people say yes, do they mean yes? In this syndication, no, I don't mean yes. I just don't want to fight. Have you ever said yes to your wife, or has she ever said yes to you because you don't want to fight? Say yep, 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 whatever, whatever, yep, 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 yep. So it could mean you don't want to fight. It could mean you don't understand what they're talking about. It could mean that you're not even paying attention. You're just using yes as a placeholder. So there's three things that yes can mean that mean nothing. It could also mean, what if it does mean yes? What if yes does mean yes? How long does that yes last? If you ask that question and they say yes to it, how long does that yes last, even if they agree with you? It's here and it's gone. It's like the analogy I use is when I'm in calculus class in high school and the teacher says, do you get how this works? I'm saying, yep, makes sense. 5 minutes later, I'm in study hall. I look at the problem, and guess what I figure out? I don't know how to do it. It made sense when he was up on the board doing it, but did I connect all the neurons? Did they connect to make me remember how to do it? Or if I go in and I show you how to tie a knot with a rope. So you go through here, you loop it here, you loop it here, you scoot through there. Okay, you understand how to do that? And you're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I leave the rope for you, walk out of the room, you look at the rope, and what happens? No clue. So I have to stay in there and say, if I say, do you see how you tie this knot? You say, yep. I say, okay, show me. So what are you going to do with the rope first? Well, I'm going to loop it. And then what do we do? Shoot, I don't remember. Then I know that you don't know it, and I can walk you through it again. Does that make sense? So we need to get how good at asking these who, what, when, where, why, how questions. Because here's the thing. If that neighbor asks me, hey, why do you like the New England Patriots? Will I lie and give him a reason on why I love the Patriots when I hate them? See, I can say yes to whatever he asks me. Yep, whatever, yep. But he asked me in my own words to tell me why I love a team that I hate. Will I be able to do it? Or my gut will just get tied up. I will not be able to answer that question. I won't answer. See, that's the beauty about these open-ended questions. Is when you ask open-ended questions, people don't lie. They'll tell you what's on their mind. Now, if they want to lie, they don't lie. They use qualifying language. So if if you ask me, why do you like the Patriots? I'm not sure. I can't put it into words. Lots of reasons. See, that's what. Am I giving a reason, or am I giving qualifying language like that I could back out on all sorts at any time? See, so if I gave that I'm hedging. That's right. That's a good word, Nick. Hedging. So they won't lie to you. They may hedge. So you have to be listening for hedging language or qualifying language. But if they answer with a black and white answer to these questions, you're going to get to know what's on their mind, and you should be able to tell everybody when you know what's on their mind. So how can you practice that on a daily basis? Well, here's an easy way. Take any news story out there, take any news story on your feed, and just practice, once a day. So for example, remember that gal that pushed the bear off the wall? So here's the I'm reading this news story and say, you know what? I'm going to spend 2 minutes in practice. So I take the first sentence and say, whether it was bravery or just plain instinct, a teenage girl was able to fight off a bear that was attacking your dogs with her bare hands. That's a statement. How would I turn that into an open-ended question? Well, I got who, what, where, why, when, how. I say, who pushed a bear off a wall? What did a teenage girl in California do to protect her dogs? Why would a girl push a bear off the wall? Where was that girl? Where did the girl live that would push the bear off the wall? When did the girl push the bear off the wall? How in the heck did this girl protect her dogs from a bear? See, how long did it take me to do that? How long did it take me to do that? Well, let's look at the next sentence. Viral video shows a mother bear and her cubs climbing over a wall to get into 17-year-old Haley Morancino's backyard in Bradbury, California. Who climbed over a wall with their babies? What climbed over a wall with their babies? Why did a girl run in the backyard in California? Where did this bear with the babies climb over the wall? When did this happen? How Did a mother bear get her cubs over that wall? See how quickly can I do that? So if I can do it that quickly with this news story, how quickly should I be able to do it with a script that I've used hundreds? I've used it probably tens of thousands of times in the last 22 years. But if you've only used it for 6 months, but you've practiced it 100 times, how quickly should those open-ended questions come to you? Quickly. Or you can use the dictionary. Look at amputate. So who, what, where, when, who would want to be amputate a limb? Why would you amputate a limb? Where would you amputate a limb if in best case scenario? How would you amputate a limb? Why would you amputate a limb? So see, I can do amuse. Why or what amuses people? Why do people want to be amused? Where's the best place to get amused? See how I can just take any word and practice my who, what, where, why, when, how questions. But the best way to practice that is take your crib note list, and you don't have to worry about the scripting, but just get used to the crib notes and turn these into questions. Things done well. Just say, what things are done well? Why would we not want to do things well? Where would we go to look to make sure we're doing things well? How would we do things well? When would we want to do things well? See how I can turn that into who, what, where, when, how? Heavy lifting. Why do we want to do the heavy lifting things with our financials? Where would we go to learn how to do that heavy lifting? How would we do the heavy lifting to make sure these things are taken care of? Do you see how I can just turn all of these into who, what, where, when, how questions? And if you did that every single day for 10 minutes, how good would you be at asking open-ended questions? Very. So do it while you're reading the news. That's a 1-minute practice session. Do it if you want. Go to push your skills and do a little heavy lifting yourself and learning how to ask open-ended questions. Go to the dictionary, or go right to the crib notes and use the bullets to do that. Does that make sense? But if you're awesome at open-ended questions, you can read people's minds. And people won't do things because you're telling them to do it. Why are they going to do things? Why are they going to move their money to you? Why will they move their money to you? Because you told them that they're making mistakes, because you told them the guy is screwing them, because you told them that that things are all screwed up in their situation? Why are they going to do it? They tell you. That's right. They tell you. That's right, Tom. Make sense? And I should have put this earlier, but this is from Investment News, how people are marketing, how advisors are marketing in 2021. 45% of them are hosting seminars. Guys, do you want to be at the front of this group, or you want to be at the end of this group? Because right now, this is what they plan on doing. But are 45% of advisors doing this right now? No. So when do you want to be? And that's right, Kevin. You want to be in the front of that. You want to be out front of that. Because if you don't do it, they're going to be out there. Second way is community involvement. What do they mean by community involvement? What are some different ways you could find clients through community involvement? Volunteer work. That's right, John. Volunteer work, work at your church, being on boards, etc. Web design that provides digital leads. This is what they're planning on doing. But guys, and Jeff, get on here with me as well, would you? And Missy, go ahead and get on as well. How many guys have we worked with that spent months, not days, not weeks, but months, putting together their website, and how many leads were they able to get from their website?
Oh, I'd say zero.
Zero.
I mean, your website is for people who already found you.
Right.
Your website doesn't find anybody, or they don't just chance on a website.
No. So if you want to get in front of people, should you be doing a website design, or should you be proactive digital leads like Missy talked about, Jeff?
You should be out there doing digital leads or some kind of marketing.
Yeah, this web design is help. You know, it's like when I got my CFP. Guess what I thought when I got my CFP? What do you think I thought, Jeff, when I got my CFP?
Oh, I made it. I
made it. And what's going to happen now?
I'm an expert now.
Yeah. So what's going to happen?
No, everybody's just going to realize I have my CFP and start knocking down my door.
That's exactly what I thought. And guess how many people knocked down my door? That's right,
None.
Dale. Flocks of people, Jeff. Yeah, flocks of people would find me, Jeff. No, and none of those things happen. Exactly, none of those things happen. So volunteering nonprofit boards, that kind of goes along with community involvement. Email marketing campaigns, sponsoring community events, blog, digital content like ebooks or frequently asked questions, paid advertising, newspaper advertising, online, radio. Now, direct mail, are they talking about mailing direct mail for seminars? No, they're talking about mailing something and having people call off of that direct mail and say, yeah, I want to meet with you. Guess how many people are going to call off a direct mail and want to meet with you one-on-one? Zero. That's right, Jeff. Zero. So most of these people hosting seminars are doing, no, I'd say most of them are using Facebook advertising, but direct mail advertising is by far superior to Facebook advertising to get people in front. So sometimes we want to do things the cheapest way, but if you want to do things the most effective way, and do I care about the cheapest way or do I care about cost per client? I care about cost per client. Direct mail is going to be a much lower cost per client than Facebook advertising. But either way is fine. But this is what people are doing. If you're not doing it, then you're behind all of your competition. Okay? So today I want to talk about this paper I read, Perceived Control and the Optimistic Bias. It's basically analyzing why are humans bad at assessing risk. And guys, we see this every single day as human beings. We see this every single day as financial advisors. For example, there are people that are afraid of flying, and they'll drive instead. What's safer, flying or driving? Flying, that's right. But people are afraid to get in an airplane, but they'll get in a car and put themselves at risk in a car. We've had all sorts of fights about face masks and the safety versus non-safety of that. We've bike helmets. Some people refuse to wear bike helmets, or they have excuses for not wearing bike helmets versus wearing helmets. You have people, you have guys people that are will tell you why they should or should not wear a mask, or why they should fly versus why they should drive, or why they should or shouldn't wear a bike helmet. But they're stuffing themselves full of they have high blood pressure, they're obese, and diabetes, and they're talking about these things, whether flying is more risky or driving is more risky. They're worried about these things. What should they be worried about? If they're really worried about what's likely to kill them. Do most people die in plane crashes? Do most people die in cars? Do most people die in bike accidents? Do most people die in from COVID or from wearing a mask? Why do people die? Bad lifestyle, that's right. So they're worried about these things when this is what's going to kill them. And then we've got in our job, when do people want to invest? When they hear about this 22-year-old that just made $400,000 in AMC or in GameStop, yeah, they want to. They fear of missing out. They want to invest here, and then they write it all the way down. And then what do they do? They get out. And again, when I'm talking down, am I talking about down for 3 months? We're talking about down for how long? Months. And it's brutal. It's brutal when the market's down for months. And so what we saw last March, is that a bear market? Or is that a correction? What we saw in March, is that a bear market or is that a correction? Yeah, corrections go down and they come back up. But in bear markets, when you should be buying, what does everybody want to do? And you're all advisors, so you've probably seen the Delbar statistics. Let's say the market averages over the last 20 years, let's say it averaged 12%. Is that what the typical investor got that was in the market? What does Delbar prove? What does a typical investor get? More than the 12% or much less than 12%? Much less, right, Nick? Why? Why did they get much less? That's right, Howard. Why? Ben, right? Because of this, right? They get in at the wrong time, they chase the returns, and then they bail too soon, or they bail at the worst time. So these are the kind of things that we have to help people. Why do people make bad decisions? Well, first of all, we have to know why they make bad decisions if we can help them make better decisions. So here's why. First, actual risks are unknowable. Do we know when the market's going to go down? Do we know how much the market's going to go down? Do we know for how long the market's going to go down? No, we don't know any of those things. I mean, think about it. With self-driving cars, is there enough data to determine how safe? I mean, there's a lot of postulations, there's a lot of guesses, there's a lot of hypotheses, but do we have enough data to determine whether self-driving cars are going to be safe or not? No, we have a lot of hypotheses, but we don't have the data. That's one reason risks are hard to assess. You know, and the other thing is, like for bike helmets, it depends, right? If I'm mountain biking, should I wear a helmet? You know, because when we look at the stats of how safe or unsafe bike helmets are, do they break it down by categories, or is it in general? Do they break it down by categories? When they say, here's how many people died from bike injuries, do they say, here's how many people died from bike injuries here, here, and here, or is it just overall? People that came into the ER with bike injury, with head injuries from biking overall. So the other reason risk is hard to assess is because it depends. If I'm mountain biking, I'm sure the heck going to wear a helmet. If I'm biking in the city, you can still die doing this, but what's more dangerous, mountain biking or going down a bike path at 10 miles, 5 or 10 miles an hour? So I might not wear it here if it's a hot day. If I'm biking in the city, I'm going to what? Wear it or not wear it? I'm going to wear it. You're going to get killed here. If I'm out on a country road all by myself, maybe I won't wear it. But if I'm on a highway where there's going to be cars, guess what? I'm going to wear it. So how many bike deaths came from this versus this versus this versus this type of bike? We don't know. It's hard. You know, wear a mask, right? Wear a mask. Well, there's lots of different. What type of, and when they start to talk about statistics and wearing masks, are they talking about each specific situation or in general? In general. So it depends. I mean, if you're outside and you're 6 feet away from people, do you need to wear a mask? Well, no, maybe not. If you're in a crowded train station, airplane, airline, or airport, should you wear a mask? Yes. But all the stats, do they break it down on outside versus inside? No. So see, it's hard to tell, there's no specifics. It's hard to analyze risk because there's so many different things that can occur. So we think we're assessing risk. We're talking about bike helmets, and we're talking about wearing masks, and we're talking about the stock market. We think we're assessing risk, but are we really assessing risk? And I talk to money managers all the time. Are they really assessing risk? No, when I talk to them, guess what they do? What do they spend an hour doing when I talk to a money manager? See if anybody gets this. Are they really assessing the risk, or what do they spend an hour telling me? They spend an hour justifying what they already think. So they'll tell me why their money management technology, their money management algorithm, why their money managing method is going to beat the market or is going to be less risk than the market in downturns, but more. It's all they're doing is what? Justifying. See, and we see this every single day, right? This is a great chart that talks about liberal bias, conservative bias, how much facts are in the reporting versus how much opinion and inaccurate things are in the reporting. And it depends on where, we know people in our lives that get all their information from Daily Kos, if they're or BuzzFeed if they're liberal, or that Fox News or the Standard if they're, or down here if they're conservative. We have people here who get it here, but it's boring and not. But the thing is, if I'm listening to Daily Kos, how do I view the world? If I listen to The Blaze, how do I view the world? So we, unfortunately, as human beings, we seek information that what? Informs us or justifies the way we already think. That agrees with us, right? So that's a problem too, right? Because we aren't really looking for or analyzing the risks. We're looking for reasons why the way we already think. My neighbor, my neighbor again tells me he's got $2 million he wants that he's going that he's got invested in the market because the market's never been a better place to be. And I said, well, the market has never had a higher PE than it is right now. And guess what he did? He said, oh, really? No, he argued with me that no, the PE was lower than it's ever been. Guys, is the price earnings ratio of the market lower than it's ever been, or is it the complete opposite? And guess what I did with him? Remember that neighbor with the Patriots? Guess what I did with him? Do I want to argue with him? Guess what I said? Oh, okay. Oh, sure. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, nod and smile. That's right, nod and smile. So, guys, he's looking at websites that what? Tell him there's never been a better place to be in stocks. Because he started to tell me all these newsletters he gets and all the, well, why do newsletters tell you that now is the time to be in stocks? Why do financial news programs? Why do brokers? Why is all the information out there like that? That's right. If they told you that you should be out of stocks, why would you need? Yeah, talking up their book. If they were telling you to buy or not to buy stocks, would you need to spend the $200 on the newsletter? Would you tune into their who's the name of that stupid guy on CNBC or whatever, the guy who's always screaming and ringing the bell? I mean, Kramer, would you turn on Kramer if he every day he got on and said, guys, now's not the time to be in stocks. Stocks are too expensive. If that's what he told you for 5 days in a row, what would happen to his viewership? See, everybody wants to what? Make $1 million. So we go to where our biases already are. That's a problem. Also, even when we know something's dangerous, how many people think at this point in their lives, in this point in history, that cigarette smoking is not dangerous? Even smokers, how many of them think it's not dangerous? They don't think it's dangerous. But when you talk to them, smokers, what do they say? Oh, yeah, but I smoke menthol. Yeah, but I only smoke 6 a day, or I only smoke 10 a day. Yeah, but my family, my uncle lived till he was 97, and he smoked way more than me. Yeah, they deny. The market is overvalued. Yeah, but this time it's what? This time it's different. Yeah. Even when people know something's dangerous, they'll come up with reasons why it doesn't apply to them. I love this guy. I mean, this guy, I get wood so much faster without shoes on. I've seen it done 1,000 times. I saw Jim, the supervisor, my supervisor, do this one time. I saw my buddy do this one time, and it would take way more time to go put shoes on than the guys. Do people do this kind of stupid crap all the time? And if their wife saw them, would they have reasons why they tell their wife not to do this? Or what? Yeah. Now, here's another example of being unable to assess risk. Do we live in more or less dangerous times than the 1970s? Is it more dangerous? Geez, we're looking at Murderapolis in Minneapolis, and every other city's got people getting killed every single weekend. Are we seeing more or less murders in the 1970s? See, many people say more. Quite a few of them are saying less. So what's the analysis show? Well, 25 murders per 100,000 people. Up here. Back in the 60s, it was 5 per 100,000. In the 70s, it got all the way up to 20-some plus. By the 90s, it was 25 murders per 100,000. Where are we today? A lot less than the 1970s. So why do we think it's more? Why do we think then that it's more dangerous than the actual data? Yeah. On the morning news today, guess what I was smacked in the face with all morning long? What were they reporting all morning long? Besides the heat wave, the second major story was what? Shootings and killings, shootings and killings, shootings and killings. Yeah, more gun deaths. In the 1970s, did I know that there was killings in Chicago? Did I know there was killings in Dallas in 1970s? No. Did we have 24/7 news then? So we watched the morning news for a half an hour, and we watched the evening news for a half an hour. And there's only so much news you can put in a half an hour. So were they scraping the bottom of the barrel with fantastical news to put in the news, or were they just reporting the news? So another reason that we aren't good at analyzing risk is because we're spoon-fed what? News or sensational data? Do we get news or sensational data, or Nick, opinions? Yeah. We're not just getting the data. See, we overestimate risk when we're not in control. We underestimate risk when we're in control. Okay, so if this guy saw his son, 16-year-old son, doing this, what would he tell his son? Why is the wife yelling at this guy? Because this guy would tell his son that he was an idiot. Stop it. You can give me this chainsaw, right? But when we're in control, we think what? Oh, no, I got this. It's have you seen the psychological tests where when you gamble and you have and you're holding, for example, when you're playing poker, it's very difficult to play poker. There's very few people who can play poker, and it has to be a completely mathematical game. Because if it's not a completely mathematical game, guess what you always think about your hand? Because they're in your hand, what do you think about what's in your hand? It's better than it is. It's just human nature. You always think if you have something, if you're in control of those cards, you think it's better than it is. So that's why you have to play, poker with math. Because if you let any type of emotion in there, you're always going to think you have a better hand than you did. Because we underestimate risk when we're in control. And just the fact of you having those cards in your hand changes your brain and the way it thinks. See, we underestimate things when we're in control. Again, most dangerous ways to travel. Look at fatalities per billion. What is the most dangerous way to travel? But if you talk to somebody who owns a motorcycle, what are they going to tell you? No, I'm what? Yeah, not me, because I'm what? I'm better. I'm careful. I've got good awareness. I've got good experience. And look at where airplanes. Geez, should we be afraid of riding on, again, not single engine airplanes, but should we be afraid of riding on commercial airlines? I mean, if we're going to die, where are we going to die? Down here or up here? So when we're in control, though, of the motorcycle, the car, we think there's less risk. We think we're above average drivers. 88% of drivers believe they're above average. Can that be the case, guys? No, it cannot be the case. But that's the way we think. See, and also, everyone's an expert, but no one knows anything. I mean, look at the people we deal with now. Takes Econ 101, becomes an expert on the stock market, right? Or I see, again, because guys know I'm in the financial industry, I have all sorts of guys want to tell me what their investment club is doing, and all the great picks that their investment club is doing. When you're an investment club, all you're in is what? Does an investment club help you make good decisions, guys? No, you're right. It doesn't. Why does an investment club not help you make better decisions? Oh, very good, John. Confirmation bias. That's exactly right. Herd mentality, Dale. Exactly. They all continue. Yeah, that's right, Kevin. So they're all think we got to find a good stock to be in. We're all going to find a good stock. You don't have anybody in there saying, you know what? I don't think now's a good time to be in stocks. Nobody's saying that. And in fact, look at the S&P 500 versus hedge fund returns, guys. Is there anybody that should be better qualified to manage money than hedge fund managers? How much expertise do they have in their command? How much information do they have in their command? How much due diligence? Because what's the minimum client size? What's the minimum client size for a hedge fund? Big or small? So are people with a lot of money, are they idiots, or do they do even more due diligence than the average person? More due diligence. So if anybody should be able to beat the market, hedge fund managers should be able to beat the market. And can they beat the market? So when somebody who's managing a client's portfolio where the minimum client size is 100,000, guess what I think about their ability to beat the market? When it's $1 million, guess what I think about their ability to beat the market? Yeah, they're not going to. Because is the minimum client size for a hedge fund $1 million? Some, but not many. Many hedge funds are how much? $1 million or 25 million? And guys, when you have investing $25 million, have you done your due diligence? Have you looked at things? So guys, this is an indication that can we or can we not beat the market? But what do we all think? With our own money, yeah, I get those stupid hedge fund managers, those idiots that have unbelievable amounts of information, number crunching, experience, but they're idiots. I got this under control myself. Do you see how we do that kind of stuff? Do we do that kind of stuff? Or do our clients do that kind of stuff? Yeah, but my money manager, yeah, his minimum client size is 100,000, but boy, they can crush these hedge fund managers. No. So how then do we reduce the flawed risk assessment? First of all, listen to the experts. Listen to experts, but even when you listen to an expert, is Cramer an expert? I guess Cramer is an expert, but am I going to listen to him? No, because he has an agenda. So let data drive decisions, but where should that data come from? Well, one place is the government. Now, I'm going to listen to the OMB. I'm going to listen to the Fed. I'm going to listen to does the Fed really care what I do with my money? Me personally. No, does the OMB, all the different departments in the government, do they really give a crap what I'm doing with my money? No. So they have no, see, I listen to people who have no skin in the game. I'm not going to listen to Cramer, because he's going to constantly tell me what stocks to be in, because if he didn't, he'd be out of a job. So I'm going to listen to places that don't have. Now, let's say, you know what, I don't agree with the government and blah, blah, blah. Okay, don't believe in the government. Then find some other trusted nonprofit organization. So guess what nonprofit organizations I listen to? When I'm Google searching something, guess what I always put in the search at the end of if I'm looking for information, what do I always put into the search after the key phrase? Well, John, I could put in .org, but I do something even different than .org. Because are there .orgs that have agendas? Are there .orgs that have agendas? Yes. So I do .org, John, but I do .edu. Because does a university really give a crap what I do with my money? Does an economist that's a professor really care what I do with the money, or they just look at everything as data? And do professors at universities have other professors looking at their work saying that's BS? So that's what if I look at government sites, I do trust the government. I don't trust the elected government. I trust the non-elected government, the people that are at these departments that are career professionals at whatever they do, and I trust educational universities, institutions. So that's the first thing you do, is look for real data. Number two is focus on risk to others versus self. So, this guy that decides to cross the road or to travel during a hurricane, what's he forgotten? Oh, I'm going to take this risk, and my truck is tough, and I can do this. What's he forgotten? If something does happen to him, is he the only one affected? Or will his family be affected if they're in the truck? If they're not in the truck and he dies, will they be affected? How about the rescue workers that have to go help him? Are they putting those rescue workers at risk? So one of the ways that you can help your clients be better at managing risk is when that guy who doesn't care about protecting, losing losing a Social Security check when he dies, what is he, you know, of course he doesn't care because he's going to be what? Dead. Have him focus instead on himself. He should be focusing on who? His wife. Well, you know, if I lose 50% of the market, I'll just live differently. You know, I'll just tighten my belt. Okay, that's great that you'll tighten your belt. But how about your family? How about your family that then needs your help because they're missing a mortgage payment? How about your wife who, if you die, panics and puts that money into a savings account so it's locked in forever? So one of the ways to lessen your risk is don't focus on the risk, on how that risk, if it goes south, will affect you. Focus on how it will affect others. Does that make sense? Do you think that's a good way to look at things and help your clients look at things? Seek opposing viewpoints. If I am liberal, I should watch Fox News. If I'm conservative, I should watch MSNBC. Why? Because it's the truth at Fox News, is the truth at MSNBC, or is the truth somewhere in the middle? And I don't know if I hide from opposing facts, am I going to be able to make good decisions? So seek opposing views. Now, here's the sad thing. Do you believe that critical thinking skills are necessary in today's world? 75%, definitely yes. Another 20%. So 95% of people think that critical thinking skills are necessary in today's world. If you're watching Fox News or you're watching MSNBC, are you using critical thinking skills? But we all think it's important. You know, if I'm not reading information about why we shouldn't be in the market, but I'm looking at what's the next best stock to buy, am I using my critical skills, thinking skills? See, there are always two ways of looking at things. This guy says it's a 9, this guy says it's a 6, and they're both what? Wrong or right? They're both right. Seek opposing viewpoints. See there's objective facts, and then what confirms your beliefs, and this is what you see. You don't see all these other facts out there. You only see the ones that are going to confirm your belief. And then you use these facts to say, I'm making the right decision, but you ignore all of these. This is what clients do. This is what you do. This is what I do every single day. See, we use confirmation bias. Don't seek out objective facts. I seek out facts that will support my point of view. I interpret information to support my existing belief. I only remember details that uphold my belief. I ignore information that challenges my belief. This is stuff that I do, you do, our clients do. We must know this and fight against it. We need to weigh potential costs even when risk seems low. See, here's the thing. I used to do this in seminars. I used to say, okay, if I was to give somebody, I would have a duct tape, and I would duct tape like a 10-foot piece of duct tape on the carpet. And I said, if I would give you $1 million to walk across this duct tape, how many of you would take that? And how many in the audience said they would do that? Walk down that duct tape for $1 million. They all did. I said, okay, now here's the thing. I'm not going to do that, but here's what I will do. I'll give you $1 million. I'm going to go across the Grand Canyon, and we're going to put a beam that long or that wide across the Grand Canyon, and I'm going to have you do it there for $1 million. How many will do that? And how many wanted to do that? None. So the potential risk of falling off is no different one way or the other, but the cost is what? Higher. So weigh potential costs. Now this guy is thinking what? Even when risk seems low, does this guy think there's any risk for him doing that? He says, dude, there's no risk. All I'm doing is what? I'm just standing. You stand all day long. Why are you worried? I'm standing here. You're standing there on the ground. We're both standing. Neither of us are falling over. So there's no risk here. The risk is extremely low. But professionals, what do? Professionals that work up on skyscrapers, what do? Yes, they tether. Because you know what? This guy's probably never fallen in his entire life, but why does he do this? Yeah, safety first, exactly. So we need to figure out what, why do we wear seat belts? Why do we need the ladder safety? We do it because things can go wrong. So in our portfolios, why do we have a 50%, 50%? Or heck, in today's world, why should we have a 60, 40% in FIAs versus the market? It's the just in case mentality, because life happens, things happen, things we didn't even know could happen. And are our clients 20, 30, or 40, or are they in their 60s and 70s? Do they have time to recover? We're not talking about last March. We're talking about real bear markets. Do they have time to recover? No. So that's why we do what we do. That's why it's important that you're meeting with your clients and doing the right thing, because guess what they're thinking? They're thinking the market's what? Are they analyzing risk appropriately, or do they have all these problems that we just talked about? They have all the problems we just talked about. Make sense? So is this theory helpful to you guys to give you a better view of how your clients are thinking and the importance of what you're doing with the open-ended questions and getting them to as human beings, are we logical? No. I wish we were logical. We're what? Yeah, we think we're logical, absolutely. But are we logical? No. We all know that people make their decisions emotionally, and then we justify them with data. And we just figured out what the data we're going to look for is going to justify what we've already decided emotionally. Does that make sense? Awesome. You guys have a great rest of the week. Stay cool out there, and we'll talk to you next Monday. Thanks, everybody.